My name is Sophia Bennett. I'm 33. On February 8th at 2:47 in the afternoon, I was standing in Marcus Reynolds's office watching him slide a check for $125,000 across his mahogany desk, while my late husband's business, our business, was worth $820,000, and I knew it because I'd seen the appraisal Ethan had commissioned 6 months before the cardiac arrhythmia stopped his heart at 4:16 a.m. on a Tuesday. Take it, Sophia. Marcus leaned back in his leather chair, the one Ethan had helped him pick out 3 years ago. It's more than fair given the circumstances. The circumstances? My hands were flat on his desk. I could feel my pulse in my fingertips. You mean the circumstances where my husband built half of Precision Floor Solutions from nothing? Your husband contributed capital. Marcus's voice had that smooth edge he used with difficult clients. I contributed expertise. There's a difference. Ethan contributed 7 years of 18-hour days. And I'm offering you $125,000 for his share. He tapped the check. That's generous, Sophia. You're a dental hygienist. What do you know about running a commercial flooring company? The words hit like he'd meant them to. I worked at Bright Smiles Pediatric Dental Clinic on Maple Avenue. I spent my days cleaning teeth and applying sealants to 6-year-olds and 8-year-olds. I drank burnt coffee in a break room that smelled like fluoride and bubblegum toothpaste. I wore scrubs with cartoon elephants on them. I know Ethan's share is worth more than $125,000. Marcus smiled. Not kind, patient. Like I was a child who didn't understand fractions. The business has struggled since Ethan passed. Revenues are down. I've been keeping it afloat on my own. Frankly, I'm doing you a favor. Before I go on, if stories about standing up for yourself mean something to you, please hit like and subscribe, and tell me in the comments where you're watching from right now, and what time is it there? Then show me the books. Something flickered across Marcus's face. Excuse me? Show me the financial statements. Show me why revenues are down. Show me where the money went. Sophia. He stood up. 6'2", salt and pepper hair, navy suit that cost more than my monthly rent. I understand you're grieving. Lauren and I both do, but you're not thinking clearly. This offer expires Friday. After that, I'll have the business independently valued, and I promise you won't like that number better. I picked up the check, looked at it. $125,000. Marcus Reynolds' signature in blue ink. I need time to think. You have until Friday at 5 p.m. He walked me to the door, one hand on my shoulder like we were friends. Talk to Lauren. She'll help you understand this is the right choice. I left his office at 3:12 p.m. My hands were shaking so hard, I had to sit in my car for 11 minutes before I could drive. Let me take you back 4 years to the first time I met Ethan Bennett. I was 29, working the same job, living in a studio apartment that cost $1,340 a month. He came in for a cleaning. He was nervous. Most adults are. He told me he hadn't been to a dentist in 6 years because he'd been building a business and couldn't afford to stop working. What kind of business? I'd asked, my hands in purple nitrile gloves. Commercial flooring. I install epoxy coatings, polished concrete, that kind of thing. My partner and I just landed our first hospital contract. His partner, Marcus Reynolds. Ethan told me about it during that first appointment. How he'd met Marcus at a contractor's expo. How Marcus had the business connections and Ethan had the technical skills. How they'd shaken hands and formed Precision Floor Solutions with $40,000 each and a promise to split everything 50-50. Marcus handles clients and bids, Ethan had said. I handle installation and crew management. It works. It did work. For 3 years, it worked beautifully. Ethan and I got married 14 months after that first cleaning. Small ceremony. Marcus was his best man. Lauren, Marcus's wife, helped me pick out flowers. She had this way of making you feel like you were the most important person in the room. Blonde, bright smile. Always knew the right thing to say. You're so lucky, she told me at the reception, squeezing my hand. Ethan adores you. Marcus says he's never seen him this happy. 2 years later, the business was worth $820,000. Ethan had the appraisal done because they were discussing expansion. He brought it home on a Thursday night, set it on our kitchen table. "Look at this, Soph, $410,000, that's my half." He'd been grinning. "Our half." I remember thinking we could finally buy a house. Maybe start thinking about kids. Ethan died 93 days after he brought that appraisal home. Cardiac arrhythmia. No warning. I woke up at 4:16 a.m. because the silence was wrong. He wasn't breathing. I called 911. The paramedics worked on him for 42 minutes. I sat on our bathroom floor and counted the tiles. 64 white squares. Marcus came to the funeral. He gave the eulogy. He cried. He told everyone that Ethan was his brother, his partner, his best friend. Lauren stood next to me at the graveside. She held my hand. She whispered, "I'm here for anything you need." I believed her. For 3 weeks after the funeral, I didn't think about the business. I worked my shifts at Bright Smiles because I didn't know what else to do. I smiled at children and cleaned their teeth and went home to an empty apartment that still smelled like Ethan's coffee. Then Marcus called. "We need to talk about the business," he'd said. "I know this is hard, but we need to figure out next steps." That conversation led to the check. The $125,000 check that was sitting in my purse like an insult wrapped in condolence. I didn't cash it. Instead, I called Marcus back on Thursday, one day before his deadline. "I want to see the financial statements before I make a decision." "Sophia." His voice had an edge now. "I've been patient, but you're not a partner anymore. Ethan was the partner. You inherited his share, yes, but that doesn't give you operational authority." "I'm not asking for operational authority. I'm asking to see how my $410,000 investment is performing." Silence. Then, "I'll have my accountant send you something." He never did. Friday came and went. No statements, no follow-up call. I spent that weekend in Ethan's home office, the one corner of our apartment he'd made his own. His desk, his filing cabinet, his laptop that I hadn't been able to open because I didn't know his password. I tried obvious ones. Our wedding date, my birthday, his birthday. Nothing worked. Then I tried the address of his first project, the warehouse where he'd installed his first epoxy floor, 2847 Industrial Boulevard. The laptop opened. I spent 6 hours going through his files, emails, spreadsheets, contracts. Everything was meticulously organized. Ethan had always been like that. Every receipt filed, every invoice numbered, every dollar accounted for. And that's when I found the folder labeled RCLLC. Inside were 38 invoices. Reynolds Consulting LLC. Each one billing Precision Floor Solutions for consulting services. $4,200 here, $8,900 there. $12,000 for strategic planning. $15,400 for market analysis. 38 invoices over 37 months. I added them up 3 times, $347,216. And next to each invoice, in Ethan's careful handwriting, was a note. "No services rendered. Fake email domain. Paid to Marcus's personal account." My husband had known. He'd known for 37 months that his partner was stealing from him. The next Monday, I went back to work. I cleaned teeth. I applied sealants. I smiled at parents and told their children they were doing great with their brushing. During my lunch break, I sat in my car and called Lauren. "Hey," her voice was warm. "How are you holding up?" "I'm okay. I was wondering if you wanted to grab coffee this week." "Of course. I've been meaning to check on you. How about Wednesday?" We met at a cafe on Sterling Avenue. Lauren arrived in yoga pants and a cream cashmere sweater. She hugged me. "You look tired," she said, concerned. "I haven't been sleeping well." "Of course not. God, Sophia, I can't imagine." She ordered us both lattes. Have you thought about Marcus's offer? There it was. I have. And? I think I need a lawyer. Lauren's face didn't change. Not exactly. But something tightened around her eyes. A lawyer? Why? I just want to make sure I'm making the right decision. Sophia. She reached across the table, covered my hand with hers. Marcus is trying to help you. He's offering you cash. No hassle. No waiting. He's taking care of you. By offering me $125,000 for a share worth $410,000? The business isn't worth that anymore. Her voice was gentle, patient. Marcus has been struggling to keep it going since Ethan died. He's been covering losses out of his own pocket. What losses? I don't know the details, but Marcus is stressed. He's working 80-hour weeks. He barely sleeps. She squeezed my hand. He's doing this for Ethan, to keep his legacy alive. I pulled my hand back. Then he should be willing to show me the books. Lauren sat back. The warmth had left her face. You don't trust him. I don't understand why he won't show me financial statements. Because you're not a businesswoman, Sophia. It came out sharp. Then she softened. I'm sorry. That came out wrong. I just mean, you're a dental hygienist. This isn't your world. Marcus is trying to protect you from making a mistake. I stood up. Thanks for the coffee. Sophia, wait. But I was already walking to my car. That night I went back to Ethan's laptop. I read every email in the RCLLC folder. There were dozens. Ethan had documented everything. Screenshots of fake email addresses, records of wire transfers, IP addresses traced back to Marcus's home network. And at the bottom of the folder, there was a video file, dated 6 weeks before Ethan died. I clicked it. Ethan's face filled the screen. He looked tired, thinner than I remembered. Soph, if you're watching this, I'm gone. And Marcus is already doing what I knew he would do. He's going to try to buy you out cheap. He's going to say the business is struggling. He's going to make you feel like you don't understand. My breath caught. I've been documenting the theft for over 3 years. I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to worry. I thought I could handle it myself. I thought I could catch him and fix it and protect the business without dragging you into it. He rubbed his face. I was wrong. I should have told you. I should have gone to the police. But Marcus is my partner. Was my partner. I kept thinking he'd stop. That I'd find a way to confront him without destroying everything we built. The video showed Ethan standing up, walking off screen. When he came back, he was holding a small metal lockbox. Everything you need is in here. Copies of every invoice, bank statements, email logs, wire transfer receipts, and the original partnership agreement that shows you own 50%. He set the lockbox down. I hid this in the wall behind our bedroom closet. Left side, bottom panel. It pushes in. The code is 2847. Our first address. There's also $50,000 in cash in there, emergency fund. I've been skimming it from my salary over the past 2 years. It's yours. Use it for a lawyer. Use it for whatever you need. Ethan looked directly at the camera, at me. You are not weak. You are not stupid. You are not someone who needs protection. You are the strongest person I know, and I'm sorry I didn't tell you that enough when I was alive. The video ended. I sat there for 10 minutes. Then I went to our bedroom, moved the clothes in the closet, found the panel, pushed. It swung inward. The lockbox was there. Code 2847. Inside was everything Ethan had promised. Invoices, bank statements, $50,000 in $100 bills. And a letter, handwritten, on the lined paper Ethan always used. Dear Soph, if you're reading this, then I'm gone, and Marcus is already trying to cheat you out of what's yours. I knew he would. He's been cheating me for 3 years. I documented everything because I knew one day you'd need it. Do you remember our second date? We went to that terrible Italian place on Hammond Street, and the waiter spilled wine on your white shirt, and you laughed instead of getting mad. You said, Things happen. You can either cry about them or order dessert. We ordered tiramisu. That's who you are. Someone who finds dessert in disasters. The original partnership agreement is with my attorney, Dennis Whitmore. His office is at 445 Commerce Street, 3rd floor. He knows about Marcus. He's been waiting for you to contact him. Inside this box, 38 fake invoices from Reynolds Consulting, LLC. Wire transfer records showing money going to Marcus's personal account. Email logs proving the consulting company is fake. IP traces showing the fake emails came from Marcus's home. Witness statement from our accountant, Carol Singh, who questioned these expenses. Don't show this to anyone. Not Lauren. Not anyone. Wait until the right time. Dennis will know what to do. You are not the dental hygienist who doesn't understand business. You are my wife, my partner, my best friend. You understand more than Marcus ever will. All my love, your satellite, because I'm always orbiting you. I read it 4 times. Then I called the number on Dennis Whitmore's business card, stapled to the inside of the lockbox. He answered on the second ring. Dennis Whitmore. My name is Sophia Bennett. Ethan Bennett was my husband. Pause. Mrs. Bennett. I've been expecting your call. We met the next day. Dennis's office was small, 3rd floor of an old building with creaky elevators. He was maybe 60, gray hair, kind eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses. Ethan came to see me 8 months before he died, Dennis said. He brought me copies of everything, asked me to hold on to them. He said if anything happened to him, you'd need protection. He knew he was going to die? No, but he knew Marcus was dangerous. Dennis opened a file. Ethan wanted to confront Marcus himself. I advised against it, told him to go to the police. He wouldn't, said he wanted to give Marcus a chance to make it right. That sounds like Ethan. Dennis nodded. He made me promise that if anything happened to him, I'd wait for you to come to me. He didn't want to force you into a legal battle if you weren't ready. I'm ready? Good. Dennis pulled out a document. Because Marcus filed paperwork last week to dissolve Precision Floor Solutions and reform it as a sole proprietorship under his name. He's trying to cut you out entirely. My stomach dropped. Can he do that? Not legally, but if you don't fight it, yes. Dennis leaned forward. Here's what we're going to do. Marcus has been demanding a meeting to finalize the buyout. We're going to agree to it. We're going to let him think you're signing over your share. And then we're going to show him what Ethan left behind. The meeting was scheduled for April 22nd at 10 a.m. in Dennis's conference room. The 2 weeks before that meeting were the longest of my life. I went to work. I cleaned teeth. I came home. I didn't call Marcus. I didn't call Lauren. Lauren called me. Hey, I heard you hired a lawyer. Her voice was tight. I did. Sophia, Marcus is really hurt. He's been trying to help you, and you're treating him like the enemy. I'm just protecting my interests. Your interests? She laughed. Not her warm laugh. Something harder. Sophia, you're a dental hygienist. Your interests are $125,000 more than you had a month ago. Take the money. Move on. I'll see you at the meeting, I said, and hung up. The night before the meeting, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, thinking about Ethan, about the 37 months he'd known Marcus was stealing, about the video he'd made, the letter he'd written, the lockbox he'd hidden in our wall at 5:30 a.m. And I got up and got dressed. Black pants, white blouse, the pearl earrings Ethan had given me on our first anniversary. I arrived at Dennis's office at 9:45 a.m. He was already there, setting up documents in his conference room. You ready? He asked. Yes. Marcus arrived at 9:58 a.m. Lauren was with him. They walked in together, Marcus in a charcoal suit, Lauren in a cream dress and heels. Sophia, Marcus smiled, extended his hand. I shook it. We sat down, Marcus and Lauren on one side of the table, Dennis and me on the other. I'm glad we could finally do this, Marcus said. I know it's been hard, Sophia, but this is the right thing. For everyone. Dennis slid a document across the table. This is the buyout agreement. Mrs. Bennett sells her 50% stake in Precision Floor Solutions for $125,000. Marcus picked it up, scanned it. This looks good. Before we sign, Dennis said calmly, I'd like to review some financial information with you, Mr. Reynolds. Marcus glanced at Lauren. What kind of financial information? Dennis pulled out a folder, opened it, started laying documents on the table, one by one. Over the past 37 months, Precision Floor Solutions paid $347,216 to a company called Reynolds Consulting LLC. Can you explain what services this company provided? Marcus's face didn't change. Those were legitimate consulting fees. Interesting. Dennis laid down another document. Because Reynolds Consulting LLC was registered to your home address, you're listed as the sole owner. So, I provided consulting services to the business. What kind of services? I asked. My voice was steady. Marcus looked at me. Strategic planning, client development, market analysis. Did you submit reports for these services? Some. Can we see them? Marcus's jaw tightened. This is inappropriate. I'm not on trial here. You're right, Dennis said. You're not. But before Mrs. Bennett signs away her 50% stake, she deserves to know where $347,216 went. Lauren spoke up. Marcus worked incredibly hard for that business. He deserved extra compensation. Extra compensation would be a bonus, Dennis said. This was money paid to a fake company. It's not fake. Marcus stood up. I provided services, legitimate services. The fact that I billed them through my LLC doesn't change that. Then you'll have no problem explaining these. Dennis laid down 38 invoices. Each one lists specific services, but here's what's interesting. He pulled out another document. This is an email from your company account to consulting services at reynoldsconsult.net. You sent yourself quotes, approved them, then wired money from the business account to your personal account. Marcus stared at the email. I watched his face. The color drained from his cheeks. And here's the IP log showing that Reynolds Consult net was accessed exclusively from your home internet connection. Silence. Marcus sat down slowly. These consulting services were legitimate, he said, but his voice had lost its confidence. Then explain this. Dennis laid down one final document. This is an email you sent from your business account to the fake vendor account. You forgot to switch accounts. You sent it to yourself. Marcus picked it up, read it, set it down. Lauren was staring at him. Marcus? I can explain. Please do, Dennis said. Marcus looked at me, at Lauren, at the document spread across the table. The business was struggling. You needed $347,216? I said quietly. You don't understand. After Ethan died, everything fell apart. I had to keep the business running. I had expenses. Before Ethan died, I interrupted. You were stealing before he died, for 37 months. Marcus's mouth opened, closed. Ethan knew, I continued. He documented everything. Every fake invoice, every wire transfer, every email you sent to yourself. Sophia. He knew for 3 years and he didn't turn you in. Do you know why? Marcus said nothing. Because he thought you'd stop. He thought his partner, his best man, his friend. My voice cracked. I took a breath. He thought you'd make it right. Lauren stood up. I think we should leave. Sit down, Mrs. Reynolds, Dennis said. We're not finished. He pulled out another document. This is the original partnership agreement. Ethan Bennett and Marcus Reynolds. 50-50 ownership, equal voting rights. And here's the clause you're probably betting Mrs. Bennet doesn't know about. In the event of one partner's death, their ownership stake passes to their designated heir, with full partnership rights and privileges. He looked at Marcus. Mrs. Bennet isn't just Ethan's widow. She's your partner, which means she has every right to access financial records, approve expenses, and question transfers, including $347,216 in fraudulent consulting fees. Marcus's hands were flat on the table. What do you want? I said slowly, a full forensic audit of Precision Floor Solutions. I want every dollar accounted for. And I want my 50% stake valued correctly. And if I refuse? Then we go to the police, Dennis said. Wire fraud, embezzlement, falsifying business records. That's 10 to 20 years federal prison time. The room was silent. Finally, Marcus looked at Lauren. We should go. Not yet, Dennis said. He slid a document across the table. This is an agreement. You submit to a full audit within 30 days. You repay every stolen dollar with interest. And you buy out Mrs. Bennet's stake at fair market value, as determined by an independent appraiser. And if I don't? Then we file charges tomorrow morning. Marcus stared at the agreement. His hand was shaking when he picked up the pen. He signed at 10:47 a.m. Lauren didn't look at me when they left. She didn't look at Marcus either. She walked out 3 steps ahead of him, her heels clicking on the hallway floor. After they were gone, I sat in that conference room for 20 minutes. Dennis offered me water. I couldn't drink it. You did good, he said. Ethan did good. Yes, he did. The audit took 49 days. The results showed Marcus had stolen $347,216 over 37 months. He'd also hidden $118,000 in unreported business income, and he'd undervalued company assets by $94,000 on his tax returns. The independent appraiser valued Precision Floor Solutions at $962,000. My half, $481,000. Marcus paid me $828,216. My ownership stake plus every dollar stolen, plus 18% interest. He sold the business 6 weeks later. Moved to Arizona. I heard he and Lauren separated. I don't know if that's true. I didn't ask. I went back to work at Bright Smiles. I kept cleaning teeth, kept applying sealants to 6-year-olds and 8-year-olds, kept drinking burnt coffee in a break room that smelled like fluoride. But I bought a house. 3 bedrooms, yard with a magnolia tree. Ethan had always wanted a magnolia tree. 1 year after the meeting in Dennis's conference room, I visited Ethan's grave. I brought daisies, his favorite. You were right, I told him. About Marcus, about Lauren, about the lockbox and the letter and the dessert in disasters. The wind moved through the magnolia branches. Somewhere a crow called. Thank you for trusting me to finish it. I stayed there for an hour. Then I went home to the house with the magnolia tree and made tiramisu. If you're watching this and you've ever been told you don't understand, that you're not qualified, that you should just accept what you're given, type, I questioned everything, in the comments. Or if you trusted someone to do the right thing and they proved you wrong, type, I learned the hard way. Both are painful. Both make you wiser. If this story meant something to you, check the description for more stories just like this one. Thank you for being here.